Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the TripleJump podcast. It's a video game podcast. My name is Ben.
My name is Peter.
And my name is Ashton.
Hi, guys.
Hi.
How are you today?
Good.
Thanks.
Thanks,
How are
Ben.
you?
Yes, I'm okay.
Last day of being 29.
Yes.
By the time this goes out, you will be 30.
I will be 30 years old.
Exciting.
Mm-hmm.
You gonna feel any different? I mean, Peter turned 13 and immediately got unwell.
He injured himself.
I got really unwell for
got
a whole month, and then I was better for 3 days, and now I've injured myself, and my arm really still hurts. So I think I've been 30 for nearly 6 weeks, and I've spent 4 to 5 of those weeks feeling really bad.
That's great.
So you've got lots to look forward to.
Loads
You're
to
going to
look
get a
forward
whole
to.
month off.
Brilliant.
After
Yeah,
next week.
and a whole month to enjoy myself and
Yeah.
not be in severe discomfort the
Yeah.
entire time.
Yeah.
So that'll be good. No, I have a weekend of complete overindulgence planned.
Oh.
Just going to eat
Treat yourself.
whatever I want and drink all of it, all of the
'Cause
stuff.
it's your last chance in your 20s to do that.
Exa-
Once you're
well-
30, you can't do it anymore.
Yeah, theoretically today I should be doing all of
Yeah,
that
you
stuff
should actually.
Yeah,
because
that's true.
it's diminishing returns from here on. But yeah, that's it. That's what. But I am going to sit in my pants and play video games. That's something I am going to do.
Good.
So that's relevant to this podcast at least.
Well, before we carry on, you remember a couple of weeks ago when it was Peter's birthday?
I do.
We got Peter some presents.
We did.
Do you remember that?
Yes.
Well,
I
guess
do
what?
remember good presents.
We've got you some presents.
You got me some
I'm
presents.
sure this will
your
come as a
30th
huge surprise
birthday.
to you.
Because you didn't see us smuggle them in.
I didn't see you smuggle them in. It wasn't suspicious when it took you longer than usual to come down.
Yeah.
And also
to
when
be
I was
fair,
focusing
that was
the
just
camera,
because we were faffing.
I didn't see Peter move things under the desk at all.
We actually didn't come
That
down
wasn't-
because we were taking a long time.
Okay.
I'd forgotten to find the sponsor out. I had forgotten to write down the email they'd sent me.
Of
and
course, yeah,
Peter had
the real
forgotten to send
sponsor.
himself weird news. So we did
Okay.
have to go back upstairs
I-
and sort our lives
I
out.
see.
It was a loose attempt to be subtle here because I thought you'd seen it when we came in. So
No.
my cable was
No, I
stuck
hadn't.
under the PC down here, and I was like,
Yeah, I absolutely saw.
no, yeah, but
People
I thought
who
Also, mine
he's
was already
seen
down
already.
here.
Was it?
I'd given mine to Cultaholic to be like, please hold this. Just in
Really?
case we came down at the same
That's
time.
very clever.
My computer
Mm-hmm.
hasn't actually been switched off for 2 days because I've had to leave it like doing stuff overnight for 2 nights in a row.
Yes.
And 3 days ago, your thing arrived in the post.
Mm.
But because Windows is like really helpful and like does event management and stuff, on my lock screen it says parcel arriving from, and it said that for like 3 days. And
Excellent.
like he's probably not looking at my lock
No.
No,
lock
I'm
screen
not.
events.
I did
but-
not see that, admittedly.
So, what do you want first? The present that I've got next to me or the present that Peter's got next to him?
I mean, that's a really hard choice to make because I feel like that's going to have
Should we show you
untold
the-
consequences.
The shapes?
Yeah, but then I'm going to have to pick either the one I think is most
Ashton's is
interesting or the one I think
unwrappable.
is
I
least
wrapped mine.
interesting. Wow, you did wrap yours.
Mainly
That's very
because
nice.
it just came in an Amazon box and it looks a bit rubbish.
Okay.
I would have wrapped this, but I forgot that I got my presents on the podcast, and I thought we were going to give these to you tomorrow on your
Okay.
birthday.
No,
and
that's-
then
yeah.
Ashton messaged me last night and said, "So we're doing the presents." I was like, "Oh yeah, mine's under my desk, so I can't wrap it now."
I mean, the fact that I'm getting presents at all is all that matters.
Yeah.
It
And
doesn't
you're not
matter
here
what it
tomorrow,
looks
so
like.
we couldn't
I'm
give
not
you
in
them
tomorrow.
during the day.
No, I'm going to be in my pants.
Also, when we say mine, all we did
We
was
did it
split the
together.
duties. So these
So
are from both
who's
of us.
which present that either of you is holding would I like to open first? Is that what you're asking? Rather than
Yeah.
this one is mine and this one is
No,
mine.
no, they're not. They're both from us.
Us collectively.
Plural.
Okay,
Can't
well,
be
I
like-
do
We
love
just got one each.
do love to rip into presents.
You want to
Yeah.
open this one first?
Well,
Do it.
I was thinking I might save that till last.
Oh, okay.
You can
And
open
open
this
the
first.
tube.
You might struggle with the tube because it's
Okay.
all taped shut, but we should have brought you some kind of blade. But
all right. It's time to show my might.
your 30 strength.
29
30,
strength.
29,
Well, 29 strength
today. Yeah. Then it's all just gonna go.
Should I use my
top.
nails?
Peter
It's okay.
Tom.
I need to do this. I have to do this alone. Okay, one bit of tape is gone. I've trapped my fingers in it.
Oh no!
It's fine. I've got it. I mean, I'm not in yet. But,
Oh!
oh, that was
That one
dangerous.
gave
Could have
out.
taken
Punch
Ashton
yourself in
out.
the face.
Nearly wiped Ashton off the table. Okay.
I've not actually checked that they sent the right one, so actually this is a big mystery.
I'm hoping you either know what it is,
It's some
fingers
sort of
crossed.
poster, perhaps.
There were many, many options,
Oh, squeaky. Sorry.
and if it's wrong, then this will be great.
We'll send it bloody back.
Let's see. Oh. Oh.
Is it the right one? It's the right
It's the right one.
That's very nice. I like that a lot.
You can get it framed if you want.
It's so
So
tightly wound
coiled
that I
up.
don't want to unfold it in the middle because then it might crease. Look at that.
It's the Kanto
It's the Kanto region, but in
the
sort
Kanto
of
region.
almost a Lord of the Rings style
Yeah,
map.
kind of a fantasy.
Viridian
fantasy map.
Forest. Look at it. It's huge. Mulberry City. Oh no, has it got? It's not just got Kanto in it, I don't think.
Oh.
Oh,
It says Kanto at the
Says
top.
Kanto at
What's
the
but-
Mulberry City? Maybe that's from the anime. Maybe that's an anime thing.
Yeah.
maybe.
Look at that. Thank you so much.
You're
That's
welcome.
okay.
Pokemon Tech. Gringy City. Yeah, that's definitely anime.
Oh, nice. It's got
Definitely
extra stuff on.
Yeah.
Extra cities that I can
Ooh.
learn, don't crease, must be. Oh no. There we go. It's going. Thank you very much.
That's
You're welcome.
okay.
That's amazing.
When we were looking, we kept sending each other the exact same thing we were already looking at.
Yeah, we're both on Etsy at the same time. We would then just send identical links to each other at the same time. Like, what about this? Oh yeah, I just saw that one.
I just saw that one. You went down the Ben Potter algorithm.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
this is arguably the
The better
creme de la resistance, as
Yes.
they say.
Yeah.
The piece of resistance.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't even need to keep ripping, but I will just keep ripping.
Yeah.
All of the paper, make all of the
That's
noise.
Christmas wrapping paper. Would you believe?
Ah, is it? Why has
Yeah.
it got little buttholes on it?
Snow. I think meant to be snowflakes.
Okay.
It doesn't look
No, it
overly
doesn't look overly
Christmassy.
Christmassy. I thought, well,
Keep it.
reduce,
Use it for
reuse, recycle,
birthdays.
and all that.
It's a shirt.
Yeah, it's a good
still,
shirt.
Still ripping. Let's have a look. Oh,
You like it?
I love it. Thank
He loves
you.
it. It
It's
says,
it's a shirt that says, "If you can read this, I was forced to put
My
my
controller.
controller down
and
and
re-enter
re-enter
society."
society." Well, I've got to put that on now, haven't
Yeah.
I?
surprisingly, not from Wish.
Yeah.
Not
That's
from
why
which-
it arrived in
This is a
time.
real shirt that grandmas have bought.
We had so many options. We had to. We struggled to pick which T-shirt of this nature we wanted to give you.
Wanted to put you
We
in.
wanted
Yes.
to put you in.
We had similar issues with the poster. We very nearly got you a Scyther poster, but then I was like, I think he's got one. I think he's got a framed Scyther in his flat, or he used to have.
I don't know that I have. but
Oh, I thought
will
I've
have
seen a fancy Scyther somewhere.
I will have a Scyther on my arm soon.
Happy
Oh, well.
birthday, Ben.
Happy
like
birthday,
the
Ben.
t-shirt?
Thank you, guys. I feel very special. I feel like a real adult now.
If you can read this, he was forced to put down his controller.
And re-enter society.
And come and do the
On
podcast.
our little preview, there is so much text on this.
There
shirt.
is an
it goes
awful
all
lot.
the way down to your crotch is where the
Yes.
text goes.
If you're walking past someone in the street, they will not have time to read all of that.
Yeah. I love it. Thank you so much.
You're
guys.
welcome.
glad.
Happy
Happy
birthday.
What an
birthday,
amazing
Ben.
shirt.
So this is our birthday
Toaster.
podcast.
Yeah. Happy birthday,
this
Ben.
is our birthday podcast where we talk about birthday things and sometimes video games as well. Each and every week we're sponsored by a very real video game adjacent sponsor. I believe Ashton has the ad read in front of her right now.
I do. Thanks, Ben.
You're welcome.
So we all watched Eurovision last week, right?
all did,
We all
yeah.
watched it.
Yes.
Yeah, everyone in the world watched it. And we know that incredibly, the United Kingdom came second.
That's quite frankly
which
not
is
right.
unheard of in the since I've been alive. We've barely made it
Yeah.
onto the left side of the board. So, from the producers of Trek to Yomi, following Sam Ryder's...
Sorry, what's that?
It's a video game. It
Okay.
came out this month.
Right.
It's like a silhouette style fighter. I think it's side scrolling, but I can't really
Okay.
remember.
That's
exactly.
completely passed me by, that one.
Yeah. And coming from the Trek to Yomi people, documenting Sam Ryder's journey to second place at Eurovision, it's Trek to Turin.
I'm going to need some more
Turin's
context.
where they hosted Eurovision.
is that where it was
this
hosted this year?
in
Okay.
Italy.
So
Right.
is there? Do
He
they?
has to fight off.
He has to fight.
He has to fight with music and words.
Okay. And his
the
beautiful
prejudices
hair.
against the United Kingdom winning Eurovision. He has to fight off all the naysayers.
Yeah.
Right.
Everyone who says he can't do it. That's the same thing as a naysayer.
Yeah.
Everyone who's trying to beat him at Eurovision.
Yeah.
But he fights them because he's a really nice guy. He
He
fights
fights
them
off
with
Everyone
music,
except the Ukrainians.
except the Ukrainians.
And he's like,
who
"You go
he's
ahead."
like, you guys go on ahead.
Yeah.
Because he's that nice.
Yeah.
He has to fight Russians to keep them out of the competition.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then the whole thing's just narrated by Graham Norton.
Just disinterested Graham Norton.
Being rude
Being
about
sassy.
people.
Yeah.
Brilliant. When's it out?
Sassy.
It's not coming out.
What?
I know. It's a surprise to us all. It's not coming out.
That's
it's not
extremely
real,
upsetting.
unfortunately.
Really sad about
Really
that.
sorry about that. Ruined your birthday. I
You
know.
actually have
Really
ruined my
sorry.
birthday, so thanks.
My
thanks
deepest
for that.
apologies.
No, we're not sponsored by Trek to Turin.
To Turin.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what it was? We're actually sponsored by wonderful patrons over at patreon.com/Team TripleJump, where for as little as $1 per month, you can submit questions to this podcast. And we have loads of other tiers available as well. Please do go and check it out if you haven't already.
Yes.
Question 1?
Comes from Robert Mansell, who says, "Hey, sexy bab.
Whoa.
No, you are
Settle
sexy.
down.
Steady
It's
on.
too early.
Was wondering how big your console collections
okay.
are and what additional consoles you would love to add. Me and my fiance have a Switch each, an Xbox Series S, a
I hope
PS4,
you're married. Sorry, I
an
do hope
Yeah,
you're
I
married.
hope you're married.
Xbox 360, a GameCube, a PS2, and we both have a 3DS and DS each, plus some Game Boys.
Whoa.
I would love to add a Wii and a PS5 too. Much love, guys. Rob X. That's a
Rob
kiss.
X. Kiss, Rob.
I currently own a PlayStation 5, a PlayStation 4, a PlayStation 2, a PC that I use for gaming. I think it says console collections, actually, but yes. And then we have a few sort of shared custody consoles that are floating around. So there's a Switch that technically belongs to either me and Ben or the whole channel. I can't. Is it a Vidiot's console?
There's a
or is it-
Vidiot's Switch.
There's a Vidiot
and
Switch.
there's also a TripleJump Switch.
And there's a
as well.
TripleJump
Yeah.
Switch. And also there's the Evercade as well. There's a couple of Evercades actually.
Yes.
So that's currently at the office, but that's a kind of a shared custody one. But yeah, in terms of what I own at home, PS5, PS4, and a PS2. What I'd like to add, and I'm moving house soon-ish, and I'm told I might be able to have a little man cave.
You might be able to
Oh my
put your
God.
toys out.
Yeah.
That's
A
exciting.
little Peter playroom.
Yeah. Exactly, a tiny playroom.
Get a little Peter playroom, yeah?
And once I've got, so the reason I haven't invested in perhaps a couple more consoles is I don't have the space in the living room for them. And I also feel like if I had one of these ones I'm about to say would have wired controllers because it's an old console, and the current placement of our TV and sofa would mean that I don't think I would be able to reach the console with the distance that the sofa is from the telly. But I would really like an N64. But they're they're not that expensive, but some of the games are really expensive because they're so rare now and they're physical. People can't just burn them onto discs. So I'm tempted to maybe instead look into doing a Raspberry Pi or something like that. But I'd love an N64. And also at some point it would be quite nice to have an Xbox Series, probably an S, but yeah, that would be nice just to widen the scope of what I can play. But that's what I'm thinking at the moment. Ashton?
So me and my boyfriend live apart currently. So we've kind of had to get more stuff because otherwise I can't play stuff up here. So I have my own gaming PC and he has his. And then I have bought a PS5 because I moved here. And then he has the PS5 that we bought initially for the house. We also have a PS4. We have a Switch that we share custody of that sometimes is in Newcastle, sometimes it's in Leicester. It's really just a little mystery. And then as of last weekend, when I went to visit my parents, we took the PS2 out of the attic and we now have that as well. But in my house in which I used to live with him, he has the following: a PlayStation 1, a PSP, a PS Vita, DS I think there's 2 in the house, and I'm pretty sure he has a Wii somewhere as well. I'm just not sure where the Wii is. We've got Wii games and a Wii board, but I don't know what he's done with the Wii. I haven't seen it.
Right.
So, yeah, we have a lot of stuff in the house. We have a full unit I do not claim ownership over any of it. It's just full of PlayStation 1 games, PlayStation 2 games, PlayStation 3 games, Vita games. And I'm like, you never play any of these. These are simply for display. These never get out of, some of them are still in their plastic wrap. And I'm like, if we move somewhere, because we're looking to move back in together again, we need to find a place for all of your stuff because there's so much of it. So maybe we might have to downsize on the amount of stuff that we have eventually, but that's the stuff we have. And I kind of do want an Xbox as well.
I might be getting rid of some of my PS2 games
No.
that I've had since I was a child when we moved house. Because
that's really sad.
Because I put them into a box when we moved in to
Yeah.
our current place, and they've been in that box under the bed all this time. And I'm like, man, I'm thinking I'll just keep the ones that like are very dear to me rather than ones I've kept because it's like, oh, might play that one day, maybe. And no, I won't. Just keep the ones that I really love.
I was trying to figure out this game that I was talking
Yeah.
about a couple of weeks ago on the podcast. So I didn't realize the PlayStation 2 was in the attic, and my dad was like upstairs trying to get it out of the attic, and apparently he was shouting at me and I was not listening, so I was downstairs. So he did it all on his own. Came down with this big box of like, it had the PlayStation 2, a bunch of like peripherals, had like the iToy, a couple of like SingStar microphones in it. And then it had a bunch of games. And I was like, cool, well, this is the games that I was thinking of. And then I was like, well, thanks, Dad. And then Ben went, I'm going to have all of these. Can I have them? And I was like, we don't have room for them. What do you mean? Why do you want this box of stuff? So now we have that as well.
Free games.
Yeah,
You've got to take them.
So,
Yeah, you do.
So yeah, we have lots of stuff in the house. But I would like an Xbox Series at some point as well. I just can't justify buying one right now because I don't have the time to play all the Xbox games.
Yeah.
And if I do, I'm playing most of them on my PC anyway.
That's exactly what I'm
So
thinking.
I would like one at some point, potentially, but I'm in no rush. So
Game Pass is tempting. That's the thing. I know I could play
Yeah.
that on PC, but yeah, I don't have the
Game
time.
Pass is very tempting. So are you going to talk about what's in your house now?
Yes. Yes, I suppose I am, Ashton Matthews. Here it comes. I have a PlayStation 5. I have 2 PS4s. I have 2 PS3s. I have a PS2. I have a PS1. I have a GameCube. I have an N64. I have a Xbox Series S. I have the Switch, the Vidiot Switch currently. I have, let's see, a DS Lite, a 3DS, a Vita, a couple of PSPs, a PlayStation TV, which is the Vita that you can plug into the television, like the home console version. I have about 6 Game Boy Advance SPs, 3 Game Boy Advances, probably about 15 Game Boy Colors, 3 or 4 original Game Boys. I'm just trying to think if there's anything. I think that might be everything.
Did you Game Boy Advance?
Yes, I got 3 of those. I think
you say that?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, I got 3 of those.
I was just sort of drowning in a sea of Game Boys.
Yeah.
Not
there's a
sure.
lot of Game Boys in, and I live in a flat. So
But they're very neatly organised in your flat, I have
yeah,
to
the
say.
ones you can see. There's also a drawer just full of all. You remember when I got the rest of this tattoo done? And I got really drunk and spent like £200 on
Yeah.
eBay.
Yeah,
and
and then
stuff
they
was
kept
arriving
arriving
for
to the
weeks.
office.
Yes, yeah, that currently is just gone in a drawer because I have nowhere
Right.
to put it.
Yeah.
So I think that's all of the consoles I own, but I would add to it if I could. Honestly, the idea of moving terrifies me. I don't think it's going to happen. I think I'll just live here renting forever until my landlord dies, and then I'll buy it, maybe.
But theoretically, if you move, it might be into a small house, which is bigger
Yeah.
than a flat.
That's true. I could have an
So you have
entire
more space.
room.
Yeah.
Although I kind of
You
my
could have
entire
a-
flat's dedicated.
A
to that stuff.
Ben playroom is like Peter's playroom.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, my entire flat is my playroom currently. I
Yeah,
can put
that's
whatever
true.
I want wherever I want. It's
That's
great.
true.
I would quite like a Wii. My parents do
Should have
have
gone
one.
before we started the podcast.
Oh,
Nice.
He's over 30 now. He can do that stuff. A Nintendo Wii, I'd quite like. My parents do have our family one, and we have one of the controllers and the nunchucks in the office for emulation
Yeah.
purposes. But the consoles with them, and an Xbox 360 would be quite nice to have as well, just because it's a great console and there's lots of good games on it. So a lot of them are on Game Pass now, though. But
Yeah,
there we are. There's my answer, and that is that.
good answer.
Are you guys ready to do something we've never done before?
Is it a special birthday
It's
section?
a special birthday It's a second special birthday section.
Oh.
It's called What We Playin.
Oh.
It's What We Playin time to talk about what we playin. Peter, what have you been playing?
I think I've only played one game since the previous podcast. Can you guess what it is?
Was
Can
it
you
Lego
narrow?
Star Wars?
It was Lego Star Wars.
Oh, it's not Orc Must Die.
Orc Must Die.
Singular.
No.
One orc.
But if you like, I can talk about that in my answer to question 2 briefly. But I've been playing Lego Star Wars. I've now finished at home. I've now finished the original trilogy. on stream, I've now just started the original trilogy, even though on the first time I played through almost all of the Phantom Menace, got to the Darth Maul fight, and it was the end of the stream, and I had to stop.
Right.
And then my data didn't save onto the Office PS5. So when I came in to continue,
Nightmare.
I was like, well, we got to just start a different trilogy, I guess. So playing
rubbish.
through A New Hope, yeah. Because I did like a temporary login, but with my actual PlayStation account. But you can like just temporarily log in rather than add it to the console.
Yeah.
And then when I was about to turn the console off, it was like, your data won't be saved. I was like, oh, okay. And then I Googled it, and there's like a way that you can like add the profile without turning the console off to the PS5 so that it will save the data. But it involves way more gymnastics than you would expect, where you have to like log into a separate temporary account without logging out the one that you were logged into.
Right.
And then do some stuff in like the user menu. And anyway, I did one step slightly wrong, seemingly. And then it like logged out my temporary account while I was logged in on a different one. And then the data just went.
That's very sad.
So yeah, PS5, it just works.
It does. It's very easy.
It just makes sense.
I mean, it's my fault for temporarily logging in, but I didn't even realize I'd done that until like I'd been playing for 2 hours. And then it was like, by the way, when you turn this off, we're not going to save anything.
Got him.
So that was fun. But yeah, so nearly at the end of the original trilogy at home. I've enjoyed that more than the prequel trilogy. I thought there's a bit more to it. Feels a bit more like you're actually just having some adventures and stuff. Not even sure how I feel about doing the sequel trilogy at this point. Like I might do. Well, I think I will do at home. But like I'm still just kind of beelining through and not really stopping to do any of the extras. And maybe like when I get through all the stories and then go back and start like exploring these worlds a bit more thoroughly and just taking it all in, maybe I'll enjoy it a bit more. But at the moment, I'm having a good time, but not
a great time.
It's not like in proportion to the level of hype that I think I had about this game, and even the level of hype that they were trying to like put on, you know, in terms of marketing, like saying this is like the best Lego game we've ever made. It's huge. It's exciting. The only thing that is true about that is it's huge.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought it looked like it was going to be amazing, and I'm not amazed. I'm a bit overwhelmed, as we've said ad nauseum at this point. But yeah, there we go. I've been just playing that this week. Some cables just slid on the table.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, I think we're okay.
Oh, I know why. It's because I moved my legs and there's cables everywhere.
Snagglepussed.
Did, yes.
Ashton, what have you been playing?
Well, Peter, this week I had a couple of days off because I was a bit...
You had plots.
I had
Yes,
the
you
plots.
did. You did.
And during those 2 days, I played one game and one game only. I played Cyberpunk 2077.
Yeah.
Cyberpunk.
I am really enjoying it. I've been having a really lovely time just bumbling around in Night City.
Good.
I have all the characters I feel like are really like fleshed out, and every character you meet kind of has a different storyline and a different kind of character arc. There's one character called Panam who I am in love with, and I want her to be my wife. She's
Is she
great.
old enough to be your mum?
No, she's not.
Oh.
Actually,
that's unusual.
Plot
for you.
twist. She's not. She's great, and she keeps like flirting with me, and I'm like, are we gonna kiss right now? And then she just palms me off every time, and I'm like,
damn.
Panam. But she's given me another mission right now, so I'm hoping, fingers crossed,
This could be the moment.
I'll kiss Panam. But I've been really enjoying it. There's only one moment where I was like, this is really annoying me. You know how sometimes, and it's not the only game that does it, but it just particularly annoyed me. You know how when you like tail this car, like follow it in your car, and then the game will just throw a car out of every junction just to be like, isn't this fun and exciting? Dodge the cars. But I was getting really annoyed because I was like, okay, well, you're just throwing cars at me. I can't go around them. I'm just getting stuck on them all. You're putting like a lorry in the middle of the road that has not been an issue in any of the rest of the game. So stop doing that. I hate it. It really annoys me. But I've also been playing some Tiny Tina, and I'm going to break my like self-imposed, I'm not going to moan about this game, briefly to talk about the DLC.
To moan about
the DLC.
Okay. Every week that goes by, I feel less interested in playing this game.
I'm sorry.
No, it's fine.
I've like enjoyed some more of the story, and I've been like liking some of the levels that we've gone through. I'm still not in love with the story, and I still find that they talk too much, and I miss a lot of the dialogue because it's kind of happening while I'm in the middle of doing something else. But the Coiled Captors DLC is the current one that's come out. I didn't know how you found it first of all. I had to Google how you get to it because it doesn't like come up in your mission log like the DLC kind of doesn't be like go here for this mission. It's just a new area that pops up after you've got the DLC that I had to Google where I had to go to do it. But it's kind of like it's like a Circle of Slaughter kind of thing where it's got like it goes up in difficulties.
My least favourite DLCs or missions from Borderlands have always been those. The survival rubbish.
But it's like, instead of it just being like, go in this area and then just kill enough enemies in like waves of 5, there's basically like 5 rooms, and then every room there's just like a bunch of enemies, or you have to like spin a totem around or turn a like knob to let the water come out, and then you go through to the next room, blah 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 blah, and then you fight the boss at the end, and it goes up in I think there's 5 difficulties. We've done 1 and 2, and it also gives you like a little added little mission to do. So the first one was like get 10 melee kills, which both mine and MB's characters do too much elemental damage, so we were just killing them before we even get a chance to hit them with our melee attacks. We weren't doing that one. And then the second one was like find the 2 chests with souls in them in every level, in every room. And that one we did fine. But then it was like the same 5 rooms, like both times. And I had thought that it was like procedurally generated, like it would be a different kind of order of rooms, or there was like it would swap some out. But it's exactly the same as the first time. The only difference was the beginning cutscene as you go into the level was slightly different. She'd like say something else and it had like a different name. So I thought, oh, it's called like Twilight something. I thought it would be a different level because the first one was like Oceans of Terror or whatever. And I thought, well, that makes sense because we're in like a little underwater looking area like Atlantis. And the next one I thought, oh, it'll be a different like vibe. It wasn't. It was exactly the same. Yeah. And you just have to do that over and over again. And there's only 2 trophies to do it the first time and then do it on the highest difficulty. And I was like, it's a bit boring, you know? Just a bit boring. You get souls and then you can like use the souls to spin the wheel, and the wheel gives you good loot. So you get like a couple of decent grenades and stuff out of it, and some good, well, not grenades, spells. And then a couple of decent kind of like shields and stuff. But other than that, I have no interest in going back to do it. We did 2, and then I was like, can we go do something else now? I'm a bit bored. But I think what they're doing with it is that the next couple of DLCs will also be similar, and they'll all be in this area that you have to go to. And then you like do different like stories in this area, because it's like there's room for other things in this particular like map you have to go to start it. So I don't know if it's going to be like, this is the first DLC and the next one will be like, yeah, it's just next to it. You just turn left and you can go into the next one. So I'm not impressed with it. And I think if I'd have bought it, because I didn't buy this one, we were given a code. I think if I'd have bought it, I'd have been disappointed. To be honest.
I've just noticed on your note that you've got the word Pan Am
in a heart.
Heart.
Just wanted to mention her. Love her.
Must remember to say that I love Pan Am.
I love her. She's great. So, yeah. But I've enjoyed other bits of Tiny Tina. I've enjoyed the story a lot more. Again, it's just too much talking. And they're just bumbling around while I'm just doing stuff. And I'm like, well, the button's here. And then they're just discussing like, should we press the button or should we not press the button? Well, if you press the button, will it have those consequences? And I'm like, I'm here. I've got here. Can I press the button now, please? So that's all I've played.
Oh, man.
Wow.
I don't know that I'm ever going to play this bloody game.
I really want you to play it.
No, I don't
just
think
so that I feel like I want to know if my thoughts and feelings
You're
are
going to be vindicated.
justified.
So you want me to potentially have a bad time so that
I
you
just
feel
wanna
better?
know, you might not have a bad time, and it might just be a me problem.
Well, from what I've played, I was unimpressed. I will say that much. And I probably will end up playing the whole thing because it's a co-op game and I like those. And I also like Borderlands. But I didn't like the humor in Borderlands 3, and I didn't like the changes in the gameplay and the mechanics, really. And this just goes even further down both of those rabbit holes, seemingly, and that's not a good thing for me. So we will see if I get to that eventually. I have played The Complex, which is a Wells Interactive game, continuing on this trend, because I forgot that I hadn't got the platinum in it yet. So I thought, okay, I'll download that and I'll get the platinum in it. Yeah,
right.
And I did.
That's the one where like there's like a there's like a gas,
like a
leak.
deadly contagion or something.
Oh yeah,
and
then that guy gets shot or something.
Lots of people get shot depending
Yeah.
on the choices you make. It's
I
not
think
very good,
I
but it
got
was
all
pretty
of the
fun.
characters killed when we played it.
I think you did.
They
yeah.
like mowed him down with a machine gun, and I was like, whoops.
Hell
Brilliant.
yeah.
It's often the way when you play
Yeah.
these
Mm-hmm.
interactive
It
stories.
is often the way.
All in. I have also played some more Switch Sports Bowling just because it's so easy when you've got people around and stuff. I have just purchased My Name is Mayo 3, which came out this week. Very exciting. Lots of people who collect trophies will be familiar with the My Name is Mayo series. The 1 and 2 were priced at 99p, and it's an easy platinum trophy that you can get. But it's like, it's not one of those. It's not a good game, but it's not one of those games that is just bad and they put a platinum in it. Like, this game is very self-aware that it's absurd, and you have to tap on a jar of mayonnaise. That's what you do. You press a button and you tap the jar of mayonnaise, and you do that thousands of times, and then you get the platinum trophy. And that's that. The third one is out now, completing the trilogy. Very exciting. I know Andrew from Cultaholic will be beside himself. $199 though, a 100% markup.
markup.
Hugely expensive version now, but I have bought it.
They know what people will pay for a
Yeah.
platinum.
Yes, and it's $199. If they charge more than $199 for My Name is Mayo 4, then I'm out. They've lost a customer, quite frankly. But the main thing I am going to play this weekend, when I'm in my pants, in the dark eating fried chicken, as I am wont to do on my birthday, I will be playing Final Fantasy VII Remake on PS5 because I've been putting it off for ages, and I've really been looking forward to playing it again.
So you haven't played it yet?
I have played
Yeah.
it. I played
PS5.
Yes, I got the PS4 version.
Oh, I see. Right, of course.
But I haven't played the PS5 version yet. Also got that Yuffie DLC that I'd like to play too. So I'm looking forward to diving into that, basically.
I was kind of hoping you were going to say Horizon Forbidden West, but
No, I don't
that's
have
okay too.
I don't have it.
Well,
So-
you should buy it.
Well, I will eventually. So much to play. Let's move on to question 2.
Yes, let's. This comes from Cameron Keyword. Hello, Bap. I have a break from uni and started Evil Genius 2 on Sunday afternoon and had played 20 hours by Tuesday evening, having found myself addicted to the micromanagement aspect of being evil. Oh, there was a lot of commas in that. Have you had any similar experiences with a game where you just can't put it down? Kindest regards, Cameron Keyword.
Thanks, Cameron.
Thanks, Cameron.
I mean, there've been many games over the years where I've been like, I literally have to go to bed. It's 4 a.m., but I don't want to. So, I mean, for example, Skyrim was a big one when that first came out. You know, I just didn't want to stop playing. Ben didn't stop playing and then hated it because he got sick of it. The most recent one that I can think of that really hooked me, and I made myself stop at like kind of, I either did it in two sittings or possibly 3, and I probably would have done it quicker than that, but I wanted it to last a bit longer. Was The Last of Us Part 2. That one really, hooked me in. Orcs Must Die is, the obligatory one as well. Like, I spent many evenings as a student just playing that over and over, trying to just get like perfect 5-star levels and just come up with the best choke points and stuff. So all kinds of games, really. Difficult to kind of pin down anything that sticks out. But yeah, the most recent one for me, Last of Us Part 2.
I find myself finding a game and just being kind of all encompassed by it. Like, it's all I think about during the day. I'm like, I want to get home and play this game. It's all I want to do. I get home and I just play the game. Happened with Evil Genius 2, actually. Yeah. I played a lot of that. There was like one weekend where I think I just sat and I didn't do anything. I just played Evil Genius 2. To the point where I basically was at the end of the game, like the last mission. It was like, when you do this mission, you won't be able to do anything else. And I was like, oh, that's sad. So I haven't done the mission. I've just been bumbling around doing other things. But I really enjoyed Evil Genius 2, so I completely understand why you've been obsessed with it, Cameron Keyword. However, was obsessed with Horizon Forbidden West, and it was all I thought about, and it was all I played until I'd finished it. That was the same with Zero Dawn. I did the exact same thing when I replayed it and when I played it the first time. Weirdly, unpacking hooked me. And I had
it's out on PlayStation now.
Yeah, I had to take myself to bed like you did, where I was like, you
had to pack yourself away.
One, I had to pack myself into my bed because it was 1 o'clock in the morning and I did have to go to work the next day. And I thought, if I keep playing this, I'm really close to finishing it. I can feel that I'm almost close, like I'm almost done. However, if I don't finish this in the next half an hour, I'm going to have to go to bed because otherwise I'm going to be really moody tomorrow and it's going to be everyone else's problem. So unpacking, I did the same with. And currently it's Cyberpunk. I was playing Final Fantasy VII Remake and then I installed Cyberpunk and now I haven't been able to go back to Final Fantasy VII Remake because I'm a bit obsessed with Cyberpunk right now.
You can't even verify that Aerith's theme is better than Tifa's, which is sad, but one of these days.
Well,
Never mind.
Each to their own, Ben.
No, it's just science, sadly. Can't argue with the facts. Okay,
well, yeah. We're currently at Cyberpunk, but I do find myself getting like hooked on a game. So it happened with The Last of Us 2 as well. I was like, this game I like this one. I'm going to just play this one for a week straight.
But I think you'll find that the Night City theme is better than the breathtaking theme.
That one.
I actually think
that's a fact.
Barrett's singing of the themes are actually my favorite. Yeah.
5 stars.
5 stars.
Mm-hmm.
So there.
Is that everything?
Yeah.
Okay. There have been various games that I've just got completely obsessed with. Mass Effect 2 and 3. I think I remember staying up until the very early hours of the morning. I was at university at the time, so I was able to do that because it's a flipping joke, isn't it? Higher education.
Time doesn't exist when you're at
absolute farce. However, one thing in particular that I have highlighted here, purely because of the part of Cameron's question about the sort of micromanagement aspect of a game, the one that I remember getting absolutely obsessed with was Assassin's Creed 2's sort of wealth accumulation of the art that you have in your mansion. I can't remember the specifics now because it's been a long time since I played it. But your mansion, you get art for it, and in real time, you make money based on the value of the stuff that's in your household, essentially. Mm-hmm. And so I got really into that, and I would leave my console on for long periods of time just to accumulate a huge amount of wealth so that I could buy dyes for my assassin clothes, and change the color of it slightly and stuff. And that's just a really small aspect of a game that probably not a huge amount of thought was put into, and there probably weren't that many people who were into it. But that sprung to mind immediately when I read this question was, man, I really loved making money in Assassin's Creed 2 by doing nothing.
Well, you say that. I immediately was like the turnip stock market in Animal Crossing. Like when Animal Crossing had its hold on me, which it did have its hold on me, all I was like, right, how much are my turnips? How much can I sell my turnips for? Are they good? Should I tell everyone about my turnips?
And they're ruined.
Are they good? And I've time traveled and they're dead. Nightmare. But I was equally as obsessed. I was like on a Facebook group being like, has anyone got good turnip prices? Mine are like £2, or like, I would be like, my turnips are currently worth 180. Would anyone like to come and sell the turnips with me? And then everyone would come and visit your island, sell your turnips. I'd just leave my Switch on the side while I was working, and people would come visit my island and sell their turnips. So, yeah, that was always a good time.
Did you ever get visited by
Elijah Wood?
Yes.
No, I did not, unfortunately. I was not lucky enough.
All the celebrities were into Animal Crossing.
Everyone was into Animal Crossing.
Everyone were all stuck in their houses.
Yeah.
Speaking of micromanagement, that's just reminded me of a game that in a different sort of way I was really obsessed with. It wasn't the same where you just put hours and hours into it because you couldn't, because of the way it was designed. But when I was maybe in sixth form, me and my friends played a free browser game that was called Neptune's Pride.
Okay.
And it was a sort of strategic, I don't want to say RTS because it wasn't real time, but it was a strategy game basically where you got a 2D star map, right? You're in a galaxy and you start with like 3 or 4 stars that belong to you. And then further beyond that, there's like a fog of war, but you can see where other stars are that are undiscovered. And you can send your ships out to go and like discover those stars. And then the further you go, eventually you're going to encounter other people who you're playing like with your friends. And you can either like try and cooperate or you can attack each other's stars with your ships. But it was it was really slow paced in that all you had to do was like log in once a day and like send these ships that way, and then they would move really slowly over a period of like 12 to 24 hours. But all of us were like really into it, and you could like DM each other, and when you got launched into the game, it would randomly assign you a sort of a profile picture for your species, and it would just be some like weird looking alien, and everyone was like role playing like mad. Like mine was just this blue guy. He had like a circular blue head, and I like named all of my ships stuff like rhythm and blues, and like
Nice.
I can't even think of
Dabba-dee.
bluegrass, Dabba-dee, exactly. And there was this other guy who was like the space slug, and he was it was everyone got like obsessed with it for weeks, and there's all this like intrigue and like subterfuge where you're like making alliances and then double crossing other people. God, it was amazing.
Sounds incredible.
But like really slow paced, and it didn't take hours and hours of your day. You just logged in, see what other people are doing, which stars have been taken in the past day or so, tell your ships what to do for the next day, and then you log in the next day and see what's going on. But we were all just so into it at the time. Yeah,
That's amazing.
it was fun. It's time then for something a bit strange. It's weird news.
It's weird news time for some weird video game news. Remember, you can always submit your weird video game news to us on Facebook and Twitter in the appropriate post that goes out once a week. Before we get to the weird news, though, we need to talk about the podcast producers for this week. If you'd like to become a podcast producer, go to patreon.com/Team TripleJump. Very big thank you to these podcast producers who have decided to support us at that tier this month.
Nathan,
Josh Plain,
G.Y. Goliath,
Sean Legg,
Corey Duffill,
Ellie Nicholas,
Erica Hutchinson,
Melody L. Bonnet,
Katie Jarrett.
and Gabrielle Philippink.
Thank you so much, podcast
podcast
producers. Thank you. Thank you very
Thanks
much.
very much indeed.
What's your weird news, Peter?
Got a weird news here that was submitted by Michael Milan, and it's from thegamer.com. Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl will remove Jenny Wakeman dialogue associated with NSFW parody.
What?
Well, that's a reference for the hardcore fans, is the subheading. This is by Rhiannon
because like
Bavan.
hardcore, because like
Porn.
saucy-
Fans of hardcore
Point.
stuff, I guess. Yeah, points. Jenny Wakeman, don't know who that is, was revealed to be in the next be the next DLC fighter in Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl yesterday, alongside Rocco, I know that one, and Hugh Neutron, who presumably is related to
Jimmy
Jimmy.
Neutron's dad.
Oh, yeah, he's the one from the memes. You're going to the Phantom Zone. Looks
Right.
like you're going to the Phantom Zone, Jimmy, or whatever. I don't know. Something like that.
The latter almost upstaged her. What, Hugh? Oh, yeah, okay, sorry, I thought it was... Yeah, okay, that's fine. The latter almost upstaged her, as fans couldn't get over how Jimmy's dad was making it into the game before the boy genius himself. Is he not even in it?
No.
Oh, wow.
No.
Weird choice.
It's the power of the meme, man.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
However, for better or worse, Jenny found a way to get into the spotlight thanks to the filthy minds of some fans. As discovered by players, one of Jenny's pre-fight banters includes a line from the show that is heavily associated with a My Life as a Teenage Robot porn parody. No, I can't believe I'm typing this either. The line quickly went viral on... Are you Googling
I'm
Ash?
googling what this is.
Okay.
My life as a
Teenage
teenage
robot. The line quickly went viral online as few could believe that a line with such naughty implications had made it into the DLC pack. In fact, none were more shocked than Nick...
She's hot.
See? Wow. Yeah, great.
That certainly is a cartoon robot.
Yes.
In fact,
a
none
teenage one at that.
none were more shocked than Nick Brawl, Dev. Oh, that's...
I thought his name was
confusing. Yeah,
Nicholas.
no.
Nicholas Brawl.
Apparently, it's abbreviated to Nick Brawl. None were more
No,
shocked.
it's not, though, is it? They've just done that.
None were more shocked than Sir Nicholas Brawl developer Thaddeus Cruz. That sounds more like a game than Nick Brawl.
Punchiest
Thaddeus
kick.
Cruz, who has now revealed that the offending dialogue will be
Hugh-plex.
removed from the game. To those of us...
Suplex would have just worked, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it
I don't know
would.
why I tried to make it a male
Susan
developer.
Plex. To those of us beautifully unaware of the connotations, the line in question sounds innocent enough and actually comes from the show. I don't know what... it is really silly.
It's falling
that this has
apart, the
happened.
gamer.
You wouldn't like my brain. It's all circuitry and metallic, Jenny screams. unaware that she just reminded the world of a very different cartoon she unwittingly stars in. The adult version switches brain to body for reasons I'm sure you can figure out yourself. So apparently in this porn parody, she says, "You wouldn't like my body. It's all circuitry and metallic."
Oh, that's not a very sexy thing to
But
say, is it?
in the show, she says, "You wouldn't like my brain. It's all circuitry and metallic."
But that's a quote from the show
But
anyway.
that's a quote from the show.
So what are we doing here?
Can I
And they
just
put
say-
it into the game because it's a quote from the show. But apparently there's a porn parody. There must be multiple porn parodies of all kinds of shows in this game.
Bless you.
It's making me sick.
As Twitter blew up, sharing the screenshot around in disbelief, Thaddeus Cruz commented on the discovery. "Boy, was I flabbergasted," he said. "While it's a line from the show, it has unfortunate implications by proxy, and as such, we'll be removing it." Cruz elaborated on the situation in the game's official Discord. "If you ever wanted a concise example of how spread out and not on the same page this project is, here you go. Most likely someone on the team did know what they were doing by adding it."
It's just a line from the
I
show.
think-
How
this is-
popular is this porn parody?
This,
that,
I've never heard of this
half
cartoon.
the world knows about
let
it.
alone this porn parody. The fact that it's a
so baffled. By
it's a
this.
line from the show that then was included in the porn parody, but somehow that line has eclipsed the original line from the show.
Yeah.
This is so far out of my realm of experience.
This
I
show-
just don't know why this is such a big deal.
This
at all.
show aired from 2003 to 2009. It hasn't been on air since 2009. I have never heard of this show before.
Me neither.
It's like if, I'm trying to think of a Simpsons catchphrase. It's like if there was a Mr. Burns porn parody, which everyone wants to see,
Yes.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
And he says, "Sexcellent," right?
Yeah.
With his hands clasped. And then they made a Simpsons Wrestling 2, and they were going to have Mr. Burns say "excellent," and then they were like, "Oh,
They
wait.
can't, 'cause of the porn
No, there's
parody.
that porn parody where he says "sexcellent."
You can't do it.
You can't do it.
I think this is too niche to really be an issue.
Yeah.
And then what was that bit at the end there where one of the developers basically said, "Yeah, this project's a disaster."
Yeah, he says no one knows what they're doing, and clearly one of the devs was aware of the porn parody.
I mean, it's news to me that these characters have any voice acting whatsoever because I
This
thought
to
they
me
had
these
none.
characters
Yeah.
exist. Oh, what the in the game ones?
Yeah.
When we played it, I don't remember
There's
anyone
nothing.
saying
No
anything.
one said anything. So I don't know. I don't know.
There is a final paragraph here. So there you have it, folks. Enjoy your lewd reference while you can. And if you have no idea where the line came from, then appreciate your blissful ignorance and do all you can to maintain it.
Well, you've ruined that, haven't you, the gamer?
Yeah.
So it doesn't really matter,
You
does
told
it?
me now, and I already know.
Weird news
Nightmare.
there.
That's very weird news.
Well, from one sexy line to another one.
Oh.
This comes from Nintendo Life, written by Liam Doolan. Random!
Who submitted this?
At Lord of Penguins on Twitter.
Was that Michael Milan? Because Michael Milan submitted two. Oh no, I think it.
I'm not sure. I didn't write their name
Don't
down.
know.
Because if Michael Milan has sent us two sexy news stories, that's,
Bonk.
Okay.
Right to horny
I'll
jail.
find out for you.
Former Nintendo employee admits he was really worried about leaking saucy Waluigi artwork. Kit was concerned Nintendo Minute was making a terrible mistake.
Okay.
Nintendo's purple mischief maker Waluigi created some saucy scenes last May when a new render of him holding a rose surfaced online. This same render was first shared during an episode of Nintendo Minute, and it seems it actually caused some drama in the office before the video was even released. During a Q&A on the latest episode of the Kit and Krista podcast, former Nintendo employee Kit revealed how he was actually really worried about featuring this render in Nintendo Minute.
This was Michael Milan.
Oh,
Straight to horny
Cheeky
jail with
minx.
you,
Right to horny
Michael.
jail.
bonk.
Throw away the key.
There's no real backstory about where exactly it came from, but it is official, and Kit was concerned the video team might accidentally be leaking something really important or breaking an embargo. Here's our transcript. This is a quote all from him. So we did the video of the Nintendo Switch Lite. There was a new color scheme of it, and it is blue or purple was a big is it blue or purple was a big debate. So we did kind of a color test to see. So we did kind of a color test of it with a lot of different things. And I remember one of the people who's editing the video was like, "Oh, our design team says they have this new artwork of Waluigi that they've been just waiting to get out there, so we should use it." And we're like, yeah, that sounds great. And as they were editing the videos and as we were watching the cuts, I was like, this is really unusual that they just had this new artwork sitting around. like they always have a plan. It's going out there. This is the date. And I'm like, this doesn't sound right. And I started to get really worried about we were making a terrible mistake and that we were gonna be leaking or like, you know, breaking some embargo for this artwork. So I was really bracing for it when this episode came out. This is just a random updated render of the main character. And it's got its tongue out. It's not loading.
I have seen it in the preview of the article.
Yeah. Krista, on the other hand, didn't really care because it was about Waluigi. So there you go. This render wasn't even a surprise to people within Nintendo. This render was even a surprise to people within Nintendo America's offices. What do you think of this unique Waluigi artwork? That's the whole article. Is that one person cared and that one person didn't care. Can we load it up?
It's a bit less exciting than I thought.
Wow.
It's a good picture,
It's
isn't
a
it?
really strange pose that he's
See, I
striking there.
thought the headline implies that the person who released it was worried, like,
It was
oh
a bit
no,
too sexy.
is it too sexy? Are we going to get in trouble for this? But actually, he was just concerned that there was an embargo on the artwork. So that's a way less exciting article than I thought.
But I mean, it is definitely an interesting render.
Yeah, it
Don't
is
know
an
why
interesting
someone would
render.
make this.
No, he's sort of licking
It's
a
a bit
rose.
of a pin-up kind of pose.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And the tongue out.
There's definitely a
is bit
version
much
of this
for
where
me.
he's not wearing any clothes.
Do you want to try and show that? Yeah, there is. Do you want to try and show it to the camera?
Yeah, you can sort of
Yeah,
see it
Sort of
there.
see it. Should I zoom in on the...
On the tongue.
The link will be available.
Ooh, blah, 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 blah.
Link will be available below the video if you're watching on YouTube.
So
Weird.
Weird.
And a bit sexy.
It's quite sexy. My weird news comes from Johnny Mac on Twitter and Jonathan Wong on Facebook. It's from Nintendo Life and Liam Doolan. Was Liam Doolan yours as well? Yeah?
He was.
Random! Sonic the Hedgehog's ugly design apparently makes a cameo in the new Chip and Dale movie.
Meow.
The original Sonic the Hedgehog movie made headlines for all the wrong reasons when it was initially revealed. Fans were quick to call out this disturbing-looking version of the blue blur. Fortunately, Paramount redesigned him, and the ugly, it says in quotes, design was axed. While we didn't expect to ever see this version again, for unknown reasons it's been discovered, the new Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers movie on Disney Plus has revived this particular version of Sonic with human-like chompers. In an Empire review, it's revealed Ugly Sonic is one of the funniest highlights of the entire movie. There's a quote here. But the funniest moments feature one who's never... But the funniest moments feature one who's never previously made it to the screen.
But the funniest moments feature one who's never previously made it to the screen. It's probably
I think
lacking context.
Yeah, I think it's just
Yeah.
been lifted.
Been
They've
talking
not
about-
changed any of it.
There are lots of characters in this thing, but the
funniest moments, plural. Yes, brace yourself for Ugly Sonic, proof that hedgehogs with human teeth are not always a bad idea. Okay. According to Slash Film, Ugly Sonic is voiced by comedian and actor Tim Robinson. And then it just embeds a trailer. So if you want to see Ugly Sonic on screen, you need to watch the new Chip and Dale movie that's coming to Disney Plus. Random.
If
So
someone had just
random.
said...
Three sexy stories today.
Yeah, absolutely. If someone had said to me, there's going to be a new Chip and Dale movie, will you watch it? I would have said no, it's not for me.
Now, though.
But I mean, even before this, the more I've heard about this, the more interesting it sounds. Apparently one of them is CG, Chip and Dale.
CG?
And the other one is like hand-drawn. And there's this weird, it's almost like a kind of a multiverse
Yeah, it's a
thing
multiverse
going
situation, I think.
That's
Yeah.
bizarre.
which is bizarre, but also sounds kind of a little bit interesting.
Kind of
So
fun.
I might try and find out more about this film.
Okay.
Give it a
I
watch.
don't think you should.
Meow.
I'll probably watch it.
Question 3.
Meow.
It's from David Lever, who says, Hiya, Pab.
Hi.
Hiya.
Are there any video game art or lore books that you own or would like to own? Or is there a game you'd like to get an art or lore book? I have all the Zelda ones and they're super nice. Have a merry podcast, David.
Thank you, David.
And to
David.
you also, David.
Yes. I own the Crash Bandicoot Files, How Willy the Wombat Sparked Marsupial Mania.
Excellent.
Good title.
I love that one. It's my favorite.
For context, originally Crash Bandicoot was going to be a wombat called Willy. They went through various marsupial designs. Eventually he became Crash Bandicoot, but he was going to be Willy Wombat. I own The Art of Spyro Reignited, which is a beautiful book. I happen to own a Guild Wars art book that came with the game. I wouldn't have bought it if it had been available separately, but it just came with it. And then kind of adjacent, I own a couple of Prima guides, like for PS1 games. And part of the reason I buy those is not, I certainly don't buy them for the guides because it's normally for games that I really like and therefore I probably know back to front. But they quite often have like cool sort of late 90s renders of in-game characters that you don't always necessarily even see in the game. They've just like rendered them separately as assets, as like promotional stuff, and they've gone into the guide. So I like just seeing like weird renders of PS1 models and stuff like that. So yeah, I buy them for the art as much as anything else. So that's what I've got. I completely missed the bit that David said about, what would you like to have an art or lore book? So I will think about that, and I'll ask Ashton what your answer is.
Thanks, Peter. So I have, though I have actually not read it because it is in Leicester and I keep forgetting to bring it back with me, the Talana comic for Horizon, like the between Forbidden West and Zero Dawn, not the other way around, called Sunhawk. Haven't read it yet, but I know a lot about it because I read up on all the lore already, but I'm excited to read that at some point. But I would like the Last of Us art book and the Borderlands 2 art book because I think they look really cool and I just like to look at them, if that was all right.
I don't think they can consent. I think
No.
you just sort of have to do it.
Yeah, that's true. I can't remember if I'm like thinking correctly here, but I think if you had like a certain version of Horizon Forbidden West, you got a book with it as well, potentially an art book.
Probably. That's pretty standard special edition.
Yeah, with
fare.
like the like £200 one. But I didn't buy that because I don't have enough money for £200 of video game stuff. So I would like that at some point as well, if they sell it individually, which they might do somewhere. I just haven't looked very hard, but that would be nice to have at some point.
At some point.
And that's all I have to say on the matter.
Okay, thank you for your
It's
statement.
okay, no
Appreciate it. I have a few art books that came with things. I think I've got a Persona 5 art book, an original Demon Souls little art book that came with the special edition of that. Probably a little Dark Souls one as well. I don't really care for art or lore books in that I think they make for great display pieces and they're often very nicely presented, really lovely covers and stuff. But I know for a fact that I would never open them, never look at them, and people would come over and go, "Oh, you've got that thing. That's so nice," and they would never look at it either, and it would just be a big, heavy book that takes up no space, takes up loads of space, and gets no use. I do have a few strategy guides, like Peter does, for I think I've got Pokemon Yellow and Red and Crystal and Stadium. I think I've got the strategy guides for. Again, mainly purchased because I just sort of wanted to put them on display. They don't take up quite as much room as some of the bigger art books. But if I was to go for like a lore or an art book, it would definitely be a From Software one. There are some really good, thick books about Bloodborne and Dark Souls and stuff like that. So if I was going to have one, I would have one of those. But again, I just know I have enough stuff and tat related to video games, and a big heavy book that I never look at is just not something I can justify, really.
That's fair.
The only reason I own the Crash and Spyro ones is because I did want to own them and look through them, and I have literally read them or looked. You don't read art, but well, they have a lot of text with them as well about like conceptual development and stuff. But I've read both of those. But there are lots of games that I like that I would never buy art books for. But I have remembered something that I would quite like to own, and I keep sort of saying I'm going to get it, and I've not done it yet because I keep forgetting. I would like the Little Nightmares short graphic novel series they did, it was like a comic. I don't know if it was a graphic novel or a comic, but they did some stuff. I think after the first game came out, I don't know exactly what the context is, whether it like bridges the gap between the two games or what. And I mean, there's talk of a Netflix show as well, I think. But I find that world really interesting and very sort of hauntingly beautiful as well. So I'd quite like to read those at some point. Yeah, apparently quite good, I'm told.
I'd really like the Bloodborne comics too. They released, I think, maybe 10 issues of those in the end. They've all got really good covers, really nice. I don't know if they're available as a set yet, but certainly I bought a few of them as gifts when they were first coming out. I think maybe 2018 is when they released most of them, but they're really cool, and I'd love to read those and own those and keep those protected and safe, and nobody gets to touch them with their sticky hands.
I would also maybe quite like, if I could be bothered to actually read it, I'm interested in the lore of the Elder Scrolls world, because when you're walking around and people are talking about historical stuff that happened like 200 years ago,
The Lusty Argonian Maid. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. I kind of feel like I wish I knew a bit more about the Lusty Argonian Maid. And, you know, I don't know what happened in like the first 3-4 games. So, well, I know what happened in the fourth one because I played it. But yeah, so I feel like I'm missing out on stuff that I would probably actually find quite interesting if I had a lore book. There must be a book out there already.
There's definitely some fictional books because I've read 2 of them and they're actually pretty good. I can't remember who wrote them, and I can't even remember what they were called, but I read them like 8 or 9 years ago, and I found them really compelling. In fact, the last one that I read, it was 10 years ago, longer. Oh my god! Because Skyrim. It was just before Skyrim came out, and I named my Skyrim character after one of the characters from the book. I wish I knew what it was called, but it was pretty good, and it's just set in that universe. So anyway, it's time for the big discussion. It's big discussion time for the big discussion. This week's big discussion comes courtesy of Bartek. Thank you very much, Bartek. And he says, hello, BPA and Walruses. Quick question. Sony lifted the veil of secrecy and showed a list of games of new PS Plus plans. What are your thoughts, opinions, hopes, dreams? Bye-bye. Thank you, Bartek.
Thanks, Bartek.
So, yes, earlier this week / last week, probably after the podcast was recorded, knowing our luck, Sony announced a bit more information about the new PS Plus tiers, that being Extra and Premium. Essential is, as we've discussed before, what already exists and what everybody will be defaulting onto when the plans start rolling out, which is very soon. 24th of May in Asia, 2nd of June in Japan, 13th of June in North and South America, and the 23rd of June in Europe, Australia, and New Zealand.
Oh, we've got quite a long time to wait then.
We do. So we can watch from a distance as the entire world burns before we brace for impact when inevitably they roll it out and it doesn't work. So that'll be exciting. Yes, I've got a couple of quotes here from Push Square, which is obviously a good place to read about PlayStation Plus if you're interested in that sort of thing. So, Sony has today shared the first look at just some of the PS5, PS4, PS3, PS1, and PSP games that will be available at launch with the new PS Plus Extra and PS Plus Premium tiers. This isn't the complete list, but more of a taster of what to expect. We've broken down each tier below, blah, blah, blah. So I've copied every single one here. I'm not going to read them all, obviously.
No, I'm going to bring them up to refresh my memory, but I did read this the other
day. PS Plus Extra, we've got, let's see, the ones that come from PlayStation themselves: Alien Nation, Bloodborne, Concrete Genie, Days Gone. PS5 wise, we've got Death Stranding, Demon Souls, Destruction All Stars,
Ghost of Tsushima, God of War, Gravity Rush 2 and Remastered.
Those are PS4 again for those ones. Knack, Little Big Planet 3, Loco Roco 2. There's
Spider-Man and Miles Morales.
Medieval's on there. Resogun, Returnal for PS5 is on there. The Shadow of the Colossus remake. A lot of Uncharted stuff as well on PS4.
Yeah.
The Last of Us remastered and the DLC as well.
Yeah.
I didn't already say that. I can't remember. Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Yeah, from third party now, Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Because we know everyone who's wanted that game has definitely finished it. I didn't get bored halfway through.
No, they didn't at all. Final Fantasy 15. A lot of these, Guardians of the Galaxy is going on there. NBA 2K22. A lot of these are seemingly from either already in PlayStation Now or were part of the PlayStation Plus collection.
Yes.
As well as some additional stuff. Tell us about the PS3, PS1, and PSP games, Peter, if you've got them there.
This isn't a very well.
It's easier to have a piece of
probably.
pieces of papers.
I'm on a different article, and it's
there
not.
You go. Have a look at those. This is the first one. Nicely.
Is this the first?
Yes. PS1. Bit further down.
Yes, there we go. Halfway down, I see. So again, just a sweeping browse. Ape Escape, Jumping Flash, Intelligent Cube. Those are some first party ones, and then third party: Mr. Driller, Tekken 2, Worms World Party, and Worms Armageddon. That's it. That's all they've released so far.
Yes, that's all we know so far. This isn't a complete list.
Then we've got the classic games catalog remasters. Oh yeah. So did you guys read these ones?
No.
So I was reading my article at the same time, so I've completely missed what you guys have done. Ape Escape 2, Dark Cloud 1 and 2. I'm not sure what that is. We've got some of the Jack games, Jak and Daxter, Jak 2, Jak 3, Jak X, Combat Racing.
Jak X.
Wild Arms 3. Bioshock Remastered, Borderlands The Handsome Collection, Bulletstorm Full Clip Edition. That's one with Duke Nukem, I think. Lego Harry Potter Collection. And then some original PS3 games via streaming because it's so hard to emulate.
Yes. Yeah, streaming's not ideal, is it?
Demon's Souls, Hot Shots Golf, Eco, Infamous 1 and 2, Motorstorm Apocalypse and Motorstorm RC, Rain, City Skylines. I've gone back again. Yeah,
gone back. Yeah, we've also got Ratchet and Clank, Resistance 3, Super Stardust HD, and third party wise, Asura's Wrath, Castlevania Lords of Shadow 2. Enslaved Odyssey to the West, Fear, Lost Planet 2, and Red Dead Redemption Undead Nightmare, that expansion. So this isn't all of them, as we've said several times. This is just some of them. But it gives us an indication of potentially what lies in store for us on the premium and extra tiers. Extra and premium in that order. Peter, what do you think? We've now seen a whole load of games there.
Yeah.
Bearing in mind that there are some additional features for Extra and Plus outside of just here are these games you can access as part of the subscription, but it's mainly the games.
And before we start, isn't there something that they said that if you owned the PS1 or PSP games... Oh, you've got it written down, have you?
Do a read.
According to Sony, select PS1 and PSP titles will be featured... will have features like save states, allowing you to save the game at any time, and rewind functionality. These enhancements will be available through a new user interface. Oh dear, I'm sorry. What's more, some titles will be blessed with improved frame rates and better resolution. That isn't what I was thinking about.
That's the one I meant
there.
Oh,
sorry.
So select PS1 and PSP titles will be available for purchase individually, meaning previously purchased games will be available to download at no extra cost. So that's a surprising move as well.
It is, yeah. And that, I think, was a bit of a saving grace, certainly from my point of view, because one of the things I've been most excited about is that this is the closest we're probably going to get, at least for now, if not forever, to backwards compatibility. That's never going to be an option in terms of stick your discs inside your PS5 and it's going to run. But at least they're, making some old stuff available to people who want to play it. And that's always kind of been an option with PlayStation Now, but at least it's all kind of bundled into one deal now. However, when I saw that list, I think the later on in the Sony console lifespan you go, I think the games list gets better. I think early on, I think the PS1 stuff there in particular is just completely unexciting. Tekken 2 is all right. Worms is Worms. And that's honestly kind of it in terms of, what I'm interested in there. But the fact that select PS1 games will be available to purchase individually, that might be of interest to certain people. But yeah, I was a bit disappointed, really. And I think, again, as we've said, this is just what we've seen now. And there may be more, well, there probably will be more to this list. But you do have to wonder if this is them kind of setting out their stall, that this might be some of the better stuff that they're trying to show off. I'd like to think that maybe there's stuff they're still negotiating or sorting out. They don't want to commit yet and say, such and such a game will be available, but even though it might be like a really big selling point, maybe it's just not been nailed down. But I think that's unlikely. I think, to be honest, what we're seeing here is some of the better in their eyes, offerings. And if that's the best they can do for PS1, I'm a bit disappointed. But I suppose it's kind of par for the course. The further back you go, it's probably harder to sort these things out, particularly when you're dealing with third-party stuff. Some of the rights holders of these games might not even exist. There's probably IP floating around out there that is sort of in some weird holding company, or no one even really knows who owns it. So certainly
THQ Nordic.
Yeah, well, THQ Nordic. So trying to nail down third-party games, the further back in history you go, is going to be harder. But even first-party stuff, I mean, you know, I think it's a bit disappointing. On the other hand, and this is nothing to do now with PlayStation 1, and as I say, I think the later you go in Sony's lifetime, the games get better. But it's been confirmed, hasn't it, that you can also get Ubisoft Plus, or whatever it's called, Ubisoft Play.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, I think so. And I think there was talk of
Is
EA.
it Connect? Ubisoft Connect? No. I don't know. It might be the title.
Yeah,
for their,
Ubisoft have got like a
Yeah.
kind of a membership thing. I'm sure, is it called Ubi Play or Ubi Plus or Ubisoft Play?
As far as I can tell, there's only one PSP game listed here so far.
Yeah, I couldn't
Right.
see many PSP games when I was looking through.
Super Stardust Portable. I think this is the exhaustive list so far of all the stuff that they've confirmed, but there's only one PSP game on here as far as I can tell.
I don't really understand also how, like, they're saying that some PS1 games and PSP games are available to purchase. Because I assumed, and maybe I'm the idiot here, that in this, when you pay monthly, that they would be included, like, in the monthly payments that you make. I didn't realize that they were also like, and you can buy extra ones if you fancy, for PS1 games that have been out for longer than some of us have been alive.
It's probably going to work the same as when a game is on PlayStation Plus, where when
Yeah.
you go to buy it, if you're subscribed, it'll just say
Yeah, maybe
you've got
But
this
that's
or
not
add it
what
to the library.
but that's not how I read that. I read that as there will be extra ones available that we've made work on a PS5 that you can buy, but they won't be included in. But
Oh,
if you've
see,
already
I-
bought them,
I didn't
then you
get
don't have to
that.
buy them again.
From what I understood, it's some of the games that are part of the subscription will be made available
You can buy them
separately.
individually.
Right.
You
If
can buy
you're
them on
not
their own.
a member of the subscription.
I thought
And
it was
select
like-
ones within that, if you have purchased them previously
You won't
on
have to
previous
buy them.
platforms, you should be able to get them for free.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah,
confused
so-
as to how they would also have something you would buy
Yeah, that would
outside
be a
of
bit of a-
But that makes sense.
bit of a
If that's
dick
how
move,
it
wouldn't
works,
it?
that's how I think I just read it wrong.
Ubisoft Plus will be available as part of the new PlayStation Plus Extra and Premium subscription tiers.
Okay.
So that obviously comes with a curated selection of popular games, 27 available at launch, including Assassin's Creed Valhalla, The Division, and For Honor.
There was a couple of Far Cry's on the list as well.
Yeah, Far Cry, Blood Dragon, Far Cry 4, Steep, South Park, Fractured But Whole, etc. And I'm sure I also read, this might have been something that was unconfirmed but is being sorted out, is that EA, their equivalent might also be...
EA Play.
EA Play might be being added in the same way.
Okay.
I don't think it was being reported that it has been. I think it was being reported that
It might be.
it's a rumor, yeah. So at least they're maybe bolting on a couple of big publishers, and that immediately increases the selection of games available. So on balance, overall, I think it's a pretty good selection of games. But yeah, certainly from my point of view, as a kind of someone more interested in the retro offerings, I think that is a bit disappointing, specifically in that corner of
Yeah.
the deal. Yeah.
So you're not tempted
At the moment,
as it stands.
As it stands, I'm not. I'm less tempted now than I was when it was ambiguous and it was, there might be a load of, PS1, PS2 stuff. I thought, well, I was never optimistic to begin with. Let me make that clear. I thought it's going to be a rubbish library, but I thought there's a chance that I'll be surprised. But now that it's been confirmed what's available so far, I'm not.
Disappointed but not surprised.
Yeah. By that particular part of the deal. I mean, I might still look at it from the fact that, some of the later games are, there's some really good PS3, PS4 games on there. But yeah, as a retro fan, I'm not very interested by that at all.
Yeah. What do you think, Ashton?
I think that it has not convinced me to go to anywhere beyond essential. I think there are a lot of the games on the list for the extra tier with the PS4, PS5 games are games I have already played, I own in disc form, or I have on my PlayStation library already.
Yeah.
And I assume that if I've added them to my library from the PlayStation Plus collection, because you can do that they're not going to take those away from me.
No.
No.
Because I got them when I was paying for the
Yeah.
PlayStation Plus level at that point. So I assume they're not going to take these all away from me if I don't go on to extra. Me and MB have discussed that if like we did want to play something like Returnal, for example, is probably the only one on that list where I'd be like, oh yeah, well, I haven't got that on anything. I would quite like to play Returnal at some point. That if we wanted to play Returnal together, the new co-op mode, that maybe one of us will go to extra and use like the family sharing that we could just play it at the same time on 2 different PS5s. I don't have any interest in most of the retro games that were on the list. None of those have been games that I've been like, oh, I always wanted to play that. I mean, there's a couple on there that I'd be like, okay, interesting. I would like to give that a go, but maybe I'll just pay for a month and then play the games that I want to play and then not pay for it again. It's the same thing I said about Xbox Game Pass. There's a lot of the retro stuff on there I don't bother with. I just play the new games that come on there or the games that I've been waiting for the last couple of years that have come out. I don't have that much nostalgia to a lot of the games. I don't really have a lot of kind of like fond memories of PlayStation 3, 2 or 1 games. So I don't really feel the need to pay for the, what is it called? Premium.
The top one,
level. Yeah. So I think I'll probably just stick with Essential, just see what the new 3 games I get a month. See what's fun and exciting on that list. And if there is, like, say, more on extra and games that are coming out to PlayStation that are brand new go on extra, maybe I will consider it. But if it's just going to be like a backlog of games that have come out, I don't know if I'm going to bother with extra. I think the best thing about Game Pass is that games that are brand new come straight to Game Pass. And these are games that I would potentially pay, I don't know, like anywhere upwards of 50 quid for, but I can just play on Xbox Game Pass and just give it a go. Whereas if they're not going to have new titles coming to extra on this section, then I don't think I would bother going for these games because a lot of them are games I've already played or have. So I'm not really that interested, to be honest. It's not been like, oh yeah, definitely we'll go for extra now. Like I was tempted, but it hasn't like swooned me. It's not knocked me off my feet.
Yeah.
So
not like Pan Am.
No, not like Pan Am. Love you, Pan Am.
It's not a Game Pass competitor.
No, it's not.
Until Sony start putting their exclusives day one on it, which they've said categorically is not going to happen, then it's just not comparable to Game Pass, which is that's the main appeal. Yeah, there's a big library of games that you can subscribe for, but I think most people are there for the day one exclusives. That's why it's such a crazy deal. And there's a lot of really great games here. And the enhancements to some of the select classic games, like the save states and the rewind functionality, is really good and great. And it's some kind of effort, not a very big one currently, but it's some kind of effort of preservation. Yeah. Don't like that we're still having to stream PS3 games. I know this is an early list, but there's some notable omissions from it, just as there were when all of those PS3 games are on PlayStation now, like where's Resistance 2? Why is it Resistance 1 and 3?
Yeah.
At least both of the Infamous games are on there.
You would think that first-party stuff as well.
It should all just be on there.
It should just all be on,
There's no excuse for it not to all be on there.
I totally understand, like, some really great third-party classics not being there. You know, you might say, well, that's not much of a PS3 library. That's much of a PS2, PS1 library. It's missing, you know, whatever, Tekken 3. Well, that's Namco, isn't it? But if all the PS1s, all the first-party stuff is available to them, why is it not there?
Put every single thing that they own, that they are not. I mean, the fact that Returnal and Demon Souls on PS5, admittedly, they're probably not shifting many copies anymore, but all of their first-party games that they don't see as big sellers anymore should go on there.
Yeah.
They should all be on there. There's no reason for them not to. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
There are some great games in there. I own most of them already. I will beat the drum forever about getting backwards compatibility working for the sake of preservation and for people to be able to play their old games. But personally, I'm not overly interested in subscribing to a very premium service in order to do that. Especially if the games aren't really there currently. We don't know again what these are. I am not interested at all. I am interested to see how it goes and what people make of it. But personally, I'm not putting down my money for extra or premium. And if, like your situation with MB. If I've got like a friend visiting or a friend and I want to play a game that neither of us have, then maybe it's justifiable, just like I did with PlayStation Now and talked about on this podcast. Maybe it's justifiable.
Said that. That's how
subscribe
I did now.
for 1 month and play what you want to play, and then go back down to a different tier. But I can't remember what the prices are. I should have written them down. But it's going to be expensive for 1 month, and there's a good chance that you could. Yes, please. There's a good chance that you could probably buy that game.
Well, that's what you'll do. You'll look at like what's the cost of the game and what's the cost of a month of Now. Yeah.
Exactly. And I could justify it on PlayStation Now. This is just super PlayStation Now, is what it is. It's been rolled into PlayStation Plus, which should have been done ages ago.
Yeah.
But this isn't PlayStation Game Pass. This is PlayStation Now 2, essentially. It's just what PlayStation Now should always have been.
Yeah.
But the lowest tier is what PlayStation Plus has always been. So
prices are for Essential, it is $6.99, which is the same as it is currently.
Yeah.
For Extra, it's $10.99. This is in pounds, but there are all the exchange rates on there. And for Premium, it is £13.50 a month.
So that's not too bad for 1 month if you just wanted to dump it, especially if there's a PS5 game you wanted to play.
Yeah.
You could just put down that money for a month and play it. So in that sense, it could be quite lucrative. But day one, in terms of looking at an ongoing subscription, not knowing the rest of these games and knowing what the currently announced games are and the features that are available at those more premium tiers, I'm not going to put my money down.
I'd be very interested to know as well how some of those older games are being run, in the sense that have they been sort of converted into apps, if you like, or are they essentially ISOs running on a little secret hidden emulator somewhere?
Like the
This is the
PlayStation Classic.
thing that's like that is baffling to me is the fact that like most of these PlayStation 1 games and PlayStation 2 you can emulate and have the exact same features, you know, save states and whatnot, for free on the internet. There are ISOs abundance. Like,
well, what I was going to say was, if it turns out that they are essentially being emulated, why can't? If there's then an emulator on my console, why can't I stick a disc
Access
in?
it. Yeah.
Like, why can't I access it and like add? People will probably be, if it is being emulated, people will be jailbreaking their consoles, I suspect. But why can't I access it and add ISOs or stick my discs into the drive? Because you can do that with the one we use.
Yeah, I heard it.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, you can. If you still have a CD drive.
Yeah, if you still have a CD drive, you don't have to download ISOs for EPSXE, which we use for PS1 emulation. If you put a PS1 disc into your CD drive, it can run it off that. So if there's going to be an emulator on my PS5, if I subscribe to this service, why can't I use it in that way? Maybe that's not how it's going to be working. I don't know. But yeah, that's interesting.
I don't know. I'm unconvinced. I'm happy that it exists. And I don't think, to be clear, I don't think this is a bad situation here. I just, it's not for me.
No.
Yeah.
But equally, I'm not really sure what they would have to do to get me in there. Maybe day one releases. But I appreciate that that is not something that they want to do, or that their business model permits them from doing, essentially.
They certainly need to put all their first party
They should put all their first party library on it.
Stuff.
But even if they did, I still wouldn't subscribe, because I've got most of their first party. I've already bought it. I already own it. It's just not necessary for me. One PSP game is not great currently. Need more of those. I assume that'll be the usual suspects, your God of War, Chains of Olympus, and that sort of stuff. It'll be great to see the original Persona games got ported to PSP. It'd be nice to see those on there. Doubt that will happen, but if that happens, that might be worth a month's subscription just to play one of those. But that is the only situation currently that I can see myself subscribing, is just to dip in for one game that's cheaper than buying separately. But let us know what you think. Are you going to subscribe to Extra or Premium from day one, or are you going to stick with Essential? Let us know. Peter, where can people find us on the internet?
Team TripleJump. Just put that in. It's there. We do our content on youtube.com and twitch.tv/Team TripleJump. It's where our videos and live streams happen. If you've got Amazon Prime, you get a Twitch sub with that. It's just part of the bundle, so you could spend that on us if you like, no extra cost. When we're streaming on both Twitch and YouTube, we're modded by Lobrotovich, Trowling Badger, and Mr. Black. We're on Twitter and Facebook at twitter.com and facebook.com/Team TripleJump. We've got video content on there. We've got a lot of live streams happening and premieres happening on Facebook right now. And if you watch those, it does help us get towards our goal so that we can monetize Facebook. I know we've been talking about it for a long time in different ways, but please do watch our live stuff if it's there. Thank you to Fraser for looking after Twitter and Facebook for us, and also for looking after our TikTok with Ashton. TikTok.com/@Team TripleJump. You can go and watch us on TikTok where we do tics and talks.
Yes, we do.
Patreon.com/Team TripleJump is where all of our Patreon rewards are available. You can ask questions on this podcast, get early access to Worst Games Ever and Weirdest Games Ever, and get special video messages from us as a group as well if you want one of those.
Yeah.
We have a website. It's triplej.mup. That's triplejU.mp. It spells jump. Isn't that clever?
That's so clever.
If you
That
wanted
was my
to join...
idea, by the way.
Oh, you're so
Just
smart,
want that on
Peter.
record.
Was it?
Yeah, it was.
I thought that was an Adam.
No.
I'm sorry. I've
Peter?
been misattributing it.
Peter. If you want to join our Discord, why not go to triplej.mup/Discord and chat with our wonderful community over on there. On Discord, we're modded by Jack, Joe, Tori, and Hollow Eyes. And if I tell you to do something, bloody well do it. If you want to listen to the podcast in its audio forms, why not go to triplej.mup/podcast. If you want to watch one of the live stream VODs, we do lots of live streams a week, so if you miss one, never fear. You can watch them at triplej.mup/VODs. If you want to book a cameo from any of us or James Jenkins,
James!
why not go to triplej.mup/cameo. And if you want to buy some sick and cool merch, like this, not like this. This is exclusive to Ben. Why not go to triplejumpshop.com and make sure you're following at TripleJumpShop on Twitter for the latest merch announcements.
Absolutely. Why not follow Peter and Ashton on Instagram and Twitter at @PeterAustin and @ScrambledAshton, and myself just on Twitter at @confused_dude. We do lists every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Streams every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Thursday being the joint streams.
Blaze it.
On YouTube. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday being the solo streams on Twitch. Worst Games Ever is fortnightly. Friday for patrons of a certain tier, Sunday for everyone else. We do the podcast every Saturday and shows all the flipping time. So come subscribe, even though you already are. We'll see you there. Also, leave a 5-star review on your platform of choice. It helps something to do with algorithms. It really does help us out, so go leave those reviews. This week, it is, we promise it's happened. Lego Ranked is now out.
It's available.
It was ready to go, but we had some export issues at the 11th hour, nth degree.
Yeah.
We had some export issues at the 11th degree. So it is ready. It's uploaded. I mean, it's out. It released on Friday. So go watch that. Every single Lego game ranked from worst to best. But that's not all, is it? Is there?
Is it there?
Is there?
No.
We potentially might have a quip scope for what's it called? Multiverses.
Oh,
yeah.
The alpha. And I mean, we don't know yet, but it might come out next week. A video that James is working on. I think it'll probably be next
week.
Ooh, yeah, maybe next week.
I think he was aiming for this week, but it might have gone out, but probably next week.
It's the return of a popular series.
Very exciting. That's right.
They haven't done since 2019.
Also, Weirdest Games Ever goes out for everyone this weekend. Tomorrow, at time of release of this podcast.
Yes.
It's obviously been out for a week if you are a patron of the $5 tier, but it is going to be available this weekend.
Do you guys want to know something?
Always.
So this is my last podcast before I go on holiday, and it breaks 4 months straight of podcasts from me. Someone told me yesterday on my stream, they said that as of today, I break my 4-month streak of not missing a single podcast.
Damn.
I mean,
It's quite sad.
You're able to brag about that sort of this year,
Yeah.
but in the pre-Ashton days,
Yeah.
PCE, pre-Ashton era.
Yeah.
Where'd that C come from?
Pay.
Did I say E? C?
Yeah.
I'm
You
having
okay?
some sort of strong.
He didn't have
right
his sugary drink this morning.
PAE
Yeah.
is what I meant.
Yeah.
Pay.
Right, pay. Ben and I had to. We really did some sidestepping around being off ill, didn't we? I think we had some streaks of 8-9 months sometimes. Occasionally Sam would step in. But
Yeah, there were a couple I did without Peter, but I didn't miss a podcast until you started.
Yeah.
So,
I've not been poisoning you or anything, so...
well, I disagree.
Well, you're turning 30
I can't
now, so you
even
might
turn
miss a few more.
BCE into A I still can't do it.
Oh my God.
B-A-E.
Just end the podcast.
See?
The nice thing about
No,
having...
it's not got a C in it.
The nice thing about having Ashton here is that Peter and I can afford to be ill now and don't, we
But you
don't
can't
have
for
to...
the next 2 weeks.
we can still be ill.
Yeah.
We have an actual team now,
I must
which we
be
did
ill.
to start with. Ashton, what's the sponsor, please?
The sponsor for this week is, of course, by the wonderful devs behind Trek to Yomi, documenting Sam Ryder's journey to Eurovision. It's Trek to Turin.
And it's out at some point.
At some
Trek
point.
to Turin.
Check him
Body.
out. Right. See you later, everybody. Have a good weekend. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.